All right, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about a big topic, and there's a reason why I have the market and auction place open here right at the start of the video. I want to talk about gold. Specifically, though, I want to talk about certain items that you absolutely do not want to waste your gold on. You want to stay very far away from buying these, and a lot of them, of course, are going to be on the market in the auction house. So I have a list of 5 in particular that you want to stay away from, and let's get started here. The first one is going to be on the market, and it's going to be under the enhancement materials. And let's talk about all the different types of enhancement materials that you can actually buy here and which ones are worth it, and more importantly, the ones that are a very bad deal that you absolutely do not want to waste your gold on. And I'll start off with that one here. This is by far the biggest one that comes to mind, and I am absolutely blown away at how unbelievably expensive these are and how much gold people have been spending on these, and that is the Harmony Shard pouches. Now, I want to draw some attention to this number here in detail. It's kind of important how you know how this number works. This is basically just how much these have been selling for on average over the last day. And you can see that this number is almost at 400 gold. So there's a couple listed right now, it looks like, for under 200 gold, which is still ridiculously overpriced for these. But the fact that over the last day, people have been buying these for almost 400 gold on average is absolute insanity. One of these bags only gives you 500 Harmony Shards, and that is a crazy steep price to pay. So I know this is a bit of an extreme example here. This just goes to show how much gold people are wasting on this stuff to even try to get that idea of maybe getting ahead. But at this point now, you know, spending almost 400 gold on any tier 1 materials is just completely ludicrous. So this isn't the only example of enhancement materials I want to talk about. This is just the most extreme one here. Now, if you are short on Harmony Shards, this is a very limited material. You're going to probably get to a point where you find like you're going to need more of these. I highly recommend you check out my video from a few days ago now, where I talk about how to get over 100,000 Harmony Shards one time only, and it's going to be through islands. It's going to take you maybe half a day to a day. Not really all that difficult. You just basically go around the ocean, sailing around to certain different places, completing these one-time quests, and it's not only going to end up giving you over 100,000. 100,000, that would be 200 of these bags right here. Over 100,000 Harmony Shards, but it's going to give you a whole bunch of other really important honing materials, such as a whole bunch of Guardian Stones, a whole bunch of Destruction Stones, like 10,000 Guardian Stones plus thousands of Destruction Stones, and it's going to give you several hundred of these Harmony Leap Stones as well, which again are a very limited material when it comes to honing. So obviously the Harmony Shard bag was the most extreme example. I still think that these Leap Stones, you know, if you're buying these for 15 gold each, you're going to need a lot of these in order to go from like plus 14 to 15. You're going to be buying hundreds of these just for a chance to get your gear from 14 to 15, which is going to be costing you thousands and thousands of gold. It's just not worth it. They've got so many other so many other sources of getting Harmony Shards, including those islands. You've got your Una's dailies as well, which give you a bunch of Harmony Shards. Make sure that you guys are doing those. Obviously, you've got your Chaos dungeons, and at this point, it's just not worth it. Spending this amount of gold just on tier 1 materials is absolutely just crazy. I mean, the Harmony Stones are not as bad as the Harmony Shards, though. Don't get me wrong. These are just on a whole new level, but still, I don't think it's worth it. Now, the one thing I will point to that I think is, you know, not as bad, you're probably not going to be limited on these as much, which is why obviously the price makes a bit more sense, but that's the Guardian Stone Fragments and the Destruction Stone Fragments. If you're spending a couple gold on a pack of 10 of these, I don't think that's as terrible as spending, say, almost 400 gold on just 500 Harmony Shards, which is absolutely ludicrous. But just be very careful with the enhancement material page and the honing resources, because a lot of this stuff is just way overpriced because of whales who are paying not just gold, they're going the extra effort, they're charging the Visa, the MasterCard, and they are selling that for gold and then way overpaying on this stuff because they just don't care. They've got so much money that they can afford to not care, and because of people like that, it's going to be driving the price on this stuff up to completely ludicrous numbers. So that's the first one, probably the most important one, so I wanted to go over it in a bit more detail. Let's move on to number 2 here, which is another one, and this is slowly getting better over time, I will say, and it's only going to continue to improve. Like, this is going to be something where in the future, if you guys are watching this video later on, these things will probably become worth buying at a point, but right now they're still a bit overpriced, so I would stay away. I'd probably just sell these and use that gold for other things like your knowledge transfer and getting your more level 50 alts. But that is your engravings, and specifically like rare engravings. If you take a look and you see the price of rare class engravings, we're going to sort by average daily price here. These have gone down. These used to be almost 200. They're going down to 150. They'll probably be 100, 130 soon. But still, at over 100 gold for just a single one of these books, in order to get your 20 rare books, for example, you'd have to spend 3,000 gold. Don't get me wrong, engravings are very important later on. But right now, at this point in the game, while you're still working on your tier 1 to tier 2 gear, and then your tier 2 to tier 3 gear, spending all this valuable gold on your engraving recipe books, the blue ones for 100 plus gold each, it's just not worth it. And this gold is going to be much more valuable towards other stuff like knowledge transfer, for example. So, you know, you've got your class. The class rare engravings are the most overpriced right now. Your regular blue engravings are, you know, between 10 to 30 gold each. And then you've got your uncommon class engravings right now, which are still a bit overpriced. They are coming down between, you know, 20 to 30 gold each. And then you've got your regular green engravings, which I actually don't think are that overpriced. It depends on which one they are. But the regular just green engravings are hovering at around like 5, 10 gold each. So I think those ones are probably okay. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to specifically buy a whole bunch of them, but if you've got ones that you want to use versus sell, I think it's fine to just use these instead of putting them up on the market for like 5 to 10 gold. So just be a bit careful about the engraving recipes in general though. All right, next up here, let's move from the market tab over to the auction house tab, and let's talk about overpriced high quality gear. I actually just put out a video the other day talking about how you can sell this to make a good amount of money. Even tier 1 item level 302 high quality gear, people are still paying a lot for this. And this is absolutely something you want to stay very far away from, because you're just going to be replacing your tier 1 gear with tier 2 pretty soon. So overpaying on high quality tier 1 gear is just not worth the gold. You're just basically wasting your gold on something that's going to be very easily replaced in a little bit. And the auction house actually has a very interesting function here. It's the market value tab, which actually allows you to get a sense of what items have sold for. You can see confirmed sales, like people actually bought these items off the market. And I'll show you here, like, let's just take a look at weapons. If we look at like a high quality item level 302 weapon, you see people are still charging like 100 plus gold for these. Absolutely not worth it. This is just going to get replaced immediately with the tier 2. Even a 0 quality tier 2 weapon is better than a 100 quality tier 1 weapon. So complete waste of gold. And let's look at the market value here so we can actually see which ones have sold. And this gets you a sense. These are confirmed sales, meaning people have actually bought them. And some high quality stuff, 150 gold. Somebody spent 150 gold on this very recently. That's ludicrous. This is a confirmed sale. Stay away. Stay away from high quality stuff. Nothing wrong with buying a few items, but don't overpay. Only buy the stuff that's a little bit of gold that makes sense, knowing that this stuff is all going to get replaced early in tier 2. So that's number 3 on the list. Now let's move on to number 4, and it's basically very similar except for accessories. Overpriced high quality accessories. Accessories get replaced every so often, every certain number of item levels. So not just even like tier 1 to tier 2, but among your tier 1 and your tier 2s, you actually have a whole bunch of different grades of accessories. Like you start off with your blue ones, which are going to be, you know, they start at item level 250. Then you move to your epic ones, which are 340. Then you move to your legendary ones, which are 420. So there's several grades of accessories within each tier. And if you're min-maxing this, trying to buy the really expensive accessories that are costing hundreds of gold, like this is not even the stuff that you're going to replace next tier, but you're going to replace it like 50 to 100 item levels later. So do not min-max this. You are going to be progressing your gear quickly to the point where this stuff is only going to last on your character a couple of days to a week at the most. So, you know, like this one sold for 200 gold. This is something that well, this one's actually item level 200, so still though, I mean, even if it's item level 900, like 200 gold on an accessory that's going to be replaced as soon as you get to tier 3, it's ludicrous. Let's see if we can look at tier 1, like 60 gold. Just because it's 100 quality doesn't mean it's worth spending 60 gold on. This one, 99 gold right here. Like somebody spent 60 gold on an item level 340 accessory, which is immediately going to end up getting replaced when you get to item level 420. So 80 item levels later, going from 340 to 420 takes like, no, it's very, very fast. So why somebody would spend 50 plus gold on these, it's a waste. Don't do it. Nothing wrong with buying a couple accessories, but don't spend a lot of gold with how quickly this stuff is going to get replaced. And the last thing that I want to talk about on the list, let's move on to ability stones. These are a very complicated item. There's so many different topics to get into with ability stones. What I want to say though is same theme among the accessories and the gear. People are going a little bit too crazy trying to min-max their ability stones when these are going to get replaced by the next tier. These give you a very large amount of vitality as well. So those early ability stones, let's see if we can find some tier 1. Let's go to a tier 1 ability stones here. And let's take a look at some, let's look at some blue ones. If there are actually any blue ones on the market right now that are like really cheap, there should be tons of them, right? 1 gold each, 2 gold each. Yeah, like this is 770 vitality, item level 250. The second that you actually get to item level 340, you are going to immediately replace this with an ability stone that gives you 1,300 vitality, which is a ton extra life. So why are you going to be min-maxing the actual engraving effects on ability stones when you're just going to replace them very early on? Now, this is a bit of an extreme example here, but even the ones that are like in tier 2, you know, you don't really need to go too crazy worrying about the engraving effects right now when this stuff is just going to get replaced so soon. So not only my little advice here about not spending a bunch of gold and wasting them on ability stones, don't go too crazy min-maxing your ability stones right now. They are important. Don't get me wrong. These are they are pivotal, a keystone item later on once you get to tier 3. But right now, the engraving effects on ability stones are insignificant because the second that you get a high vitality ability stone in tier 3, you're going to want to use that. And those are the ones that you're going to want to really mess with the actual engravings and try to do them correctly. For now, it's totally okay if you just kind of mash through them. If you want to take it a little seriously and like, you know, try not to get a completely bricked ability stone, that's fine. But don't spend if we look at the prices here, you know, the 50 to 100 gold on these crazy, like even tier 1 ability stones, like 100 gold on this that just sold for a item level 340 ability stone, which is immediately going to get replaced and 120 item levels later. It's just a complete waste of gold. Don't do it. Just buy the cheap ones for the vitality and then replace it and worry about them when you get to tier 3. So anyway, there's a lot of other stuff, like a lot of other stuff that is a massive waste of gold. So very possible part 2 in the future. I'm going to leave it here though. I think I threw enough info at you guys in this video and I don't want to overwhelm. So keep an eye out for part 2 though. And I'll end off the video by saying if you guys did enjoy this video and it helped out, consider leaving a quick like. Clicking that little like button, it takes just a second, it means a lot, but also possibly consider subscribing to the channel, turning your YouTube notifications on for more hopefully helpful videos like this, possibly part 2, and other useful Lost Ark info that is going to help make your gameplay experience, you know, better, more enjoyable, and less confusing. So I'm going to leave off with that. Thank you all once again for watching. If you want to check out the Twitch streams as well, twitch.tv/salt. I'll be playing lots of Lost Ark as well as other games, so thank you to those of you guys who have checked that out as well. And yeah, that's going to be about it. So have a good one, everyone. Take care. And until next time.